Yo! Yo! I'm back again. It's been like another 6 months or something stupid. And yeah, I'm back and I have a cold. Don't worry, it's not COVID. I've gotten it tested, but it's all right. I'm just a little congested. And as well as a cold, I also have a new video for you. This is the HAZFEST behind the scenes, part 3. It's a decently detailed look into the coding command blocks of the Minecraft world. This one's a pretty long one. It's about 40 minutes long. So if you don't want to sit and watch me talk in a relatively monotone voice about like Minecraft command blocks for 40 minutes, then don't watch it. But if you're some crazy person who really wants to know how I coded, then go for it. In this video, I have Ollie, Micah, and Charlie who are in the voice chat with me. They don't really say anything usually, but they're there. And there's a few scenes where they chime in with some extra information. If you have no idea what HAZFEST is, not much of this video is going to make much sense to you, so I highly recommend you go check out our website or the past 2 videos, which will fill you in. And yeah, please enjoy. Roll that intro! So, more than a year later, we're back on the original HAZFEST Minecraft server on the stage. You can see the screen may look a little bit different than usual. I'll explain why that is. We're here. It's been a while. I'm gonna explain to you how all these lights work and how all the other random command block trickery works on this server. I am going to show you how all of these things control that big old boy up there and how we came up with the lighting effects and stuff. First up, a lot of you who came to the festival are going to be quite shocked to find out that what you were enjoying the festival on underneath is chaos. And behind the stage there is even more chaos. And behind the stage there is yeah, there's a lot. I'm also going to explain to you how we got these special textures of like the speakers and the nether portal to work. It's pretty simple. And yeah, let's start with this main section, which is called front of house. This is where typically in a normal concert you'd have the audio guys and the lighting guys and the vision guys and the camera guys if there is cameras. For us, this is just lighting because like audio was done in real life and vision was just Minecraft blocks on those screens. So all of these levers control something and most of them have signs that say exactly what they control. So for example, this one's the CO2 cannon and it's a one shot, which means that it doesn't loop. As in like you push it, it happens, and then you can push it again. Whereas some of these other things like Mountain Sparkle, for example, is a loop. So it will just loop. And now I'll give you a little demo of what some of these look like. So you have the pyro. It's literally just fire. Really simple. You've got the CO2 cannon, which is everyone's favorite. You have the Mountain Sparkle, which does this around the outside. Just kind of sparkles. It's pretty wild, and I can turn that off by pushing that button again and flipping this. We have fireworks, everyone's other favorite. They look great, but if you use them too much, then for some reason Minecraft like just decides to stop actually displaying the particles, so that's fun. Now if I turn off all the other lights, make it dark, I'm going to go through some of the other ones. So for example, this one right here turns on and off the LEDs. Really simple. This one makes them flash red and, I mean, apparently white, but it would have been green at the time. And this makes some lava droplets fall. Does this. It's really subtle, but like a lot of these are super subtle because you can't really do too much with Minecraft. And then this one right here just turns on the red version of the LEDs. Up here we have the pulsing orbs, another really subtle one, but I'm a fan. It literally just like makes these white things up here flash. Next we have the truss lighting, which is literally just that. It just turns on lights that are in the stage, these lights here, but it also turns on lights that are in the above truss. By the way, in a normal concert environment, this metal kind of bar stuff would be considered truss. Editor Elliot, show a picture of what truss usually looks like. Boom, there you go. So yeah, it turns on and off these lights right here, and these lights down here. This lever right here turns on and off the HAZFEST loop GIF thing that you see on the two side LEDs. And I can go real close. This is what it looks like up close. This lever right here, this did something once. It doesn't do anything anymore. But what that lever did do is there were these like fireplaces underneath here, and they would rise smoke above the stage. It looked pretty cool, and basically that lever just gets rid and places this big long bar of stone which blocks the smoke, so I can turn on and off the smoke effect. I pretty much never used it. And this lever here, this lever turns on and off the extremely slow to load beacons, but I don't know, they look kind of cool. It's just rainbow, but yeah, if I turn them on, you can see what they look like. There's one set loaded. Oh, and there's the second one. Yeah, they look pretty cool. They go pretty far up. As I've shown you before, this one here does the same thing as Mountain Sparkle, but it just has it steady on like that. Really simple. And that's literally just like these glowstone lights here and around the stage, which get turned on and off with that lever. And it just kind of, it gives the stage a nice look, kind of like a halo look. I don't know. This one is another fan favorite. This is the Ender Dragon. It takes like 5 seconds to turn on, as it says. And unfortunately, it makes these big boss bars on the top of the screen, which we couldn't figure out how to get rid of. This is what it looks like. You can see the Ender Dragon starting to spawn. It goes pretty crazy. The more laggy the server gets though, the less these particles show up, so the less vibrant it is. And this is what it looks like behind. I've got a really beefy computer, so it's handling this really well, but if you were to go behind here on like a phone or something, your Minecraft would probably crash.
Confirm it did.
Yep.
I've done it before.
This one right here is the lasers. Now unfortunately Minecraft is bad, and Mojang have completely stuffed up their particle system in a recent update. So these used to be straight like vertical down, but like not anymore, and they used to come out of these things which were meant to be, if you don't know anything about lighting, like moving head fixtures. So I mean, they look kind of similar to moving heads, but yeah, so that's broken and it looks kind of janky now, so I don't use it. This is the floor pulse. This gets quite laggy for a lot of people's devices, so we pretty much never used it, and it's a very subtle effect, so it's really not worth it, but I don't know, it's here anyway, so like. And this is what it looks like. This one here is a nice atmospheric effect. It's called Totem, and it just kind of makes these green and yellow particles appear around the stage. It looks good. And this is what it looks like. It's really, I mean, it's not that subtle, but it is on the subtle end of things, and they don't glow. So it's really just something to be added to with. This is the red boys. I don't really remember what they do, but they do this. They just kind of have these red X's that float up. Again, super subtle, but you are going to notice it if you're at the rail here. So, and then this one is a very non-subtle effect. This is the strobes, and it's kind of matched at 120 beats per minute, which tends to be the average tempo of dance music. So it just kind of, you know, tries to match up with songs, and it, you know, it does a pretty good job actually. So it literally just flashes, and the more laggy it gets, the more inconsistent the flashes become, and the bigger the spaces between the flashes become. And towards the end of like programming all this, I added this kind of cool thing on the side, and this flashing, like these lights here, which flash at a different timing compared to the big ones at the front. Just a bit of subtlety. And then this is the floor purple. This is again a pretty subtle effect, but it adds these like just glowing particle things to the floor. Pretty cool. And that is it for all the lighting effects that we have. I'm gonna discuss the design of the stage real quick as well. It's kind of modeled off your traditional outside big stage for festivals. You have the main stage area where you can load in a ground package for a DJ, for example, something like this. Or you can have bands, like instruments and things, maybe a drum riser up the back. We only had DJs on this stage, so yeah, just ground packages for DJs. We get these big side areas here, which in the real world, there'd be like a monitor mix engineer here and stuff. And just random other crap, like other artists, like equipment would be around here, but yeah, we don't really have to deal with that, so nothing here. On the other side though, we have the stage door, and this had a security feature which really, now looking back on it, was quite easy to break. Yeah, it ended up being fine, but it is reasonably easy to break. There's this like little viewing thing which like just leads to black. I don't know where we put it there. But VIPs could stand at the edge here without being pushed back, and then have a look outside and see what the artist was doing. Pretty cool. These are the beacons back here. There's the same thing on the other side. Obviously we have the really big screen right here. Usually at a normal festival you'd have all the artists' own graphics and things and stuff here. I mean, sometimes you put like camera shots and stuff up here, but like generally you won't. These side LED panels are kind of more used for having camera shots of the artist so that more audience can see them from way back. Obviously we didn't have cameras in Minecraft, so we just kind of used them for general purpose. Same thing as the one in the middle here. We have these big lines of speakers, which in the real world are called line arrays, and these particular ones are modeled off D&B Audio Technic line arrays. Down the bottom here we have subs, and these are again D&B subs, I guess. And these kind of slab looking things on the top are meant to be wedge monitors for the center fill, so that the people in the front here can hear just as well as the people in the back. Because if you think about it, these big old line arrays aren't really going to get much coverage here. In terms of speakers as well, every artist's ground package had this monitor setup, which would look very familiar to any festival DJ out there. You have sub or two subs, and then like a wedge monitor or two wedge monitors. And so yeah, these stair looking things are supposed to be wedge monitors. And on every ground package as well, there's 4 CDJs and 1 DJM 900 mixer. I don't know where the mixer for this one is, but it's usually there. I've already talked a little bit about truss. Here's the picture again, but this is just stuff to build stages out of and hang things on. Like the lights, an amazing segue. Wow. We have these black skull looking things, which I did not come up with a lighting use. They're literally just for show. These big old thingies, these are redstone lamps, and these are used for the truss lights and the strobes. The one at the front are the strobes. Again, these stone looking thingies here, grindstone looking thingies, these are supposed to be moving heads, which are those spinny lights. Show a picture, Elliot. And these, what are called brewing stands in Minecraft, are supposed to be laser emitters, which I don't think got used. And then we have the iconic creeper skull, which is backwards, so you can see this creeper head here, which was used for the totem effect. These, I think they're not blast furnaces. There's some kind of furnace in Minecraft, but these are meant to have the fire on them. I just liked how they look and just decided that that was where the fire would appear. You may notice this cage-like substance here mixed with this carpet-looking thing here, which is actually carpet in Minecraft. The combination of these was meant to emulate something called megadeck, and that's the kind of weird mixture of truss and plywood, black plywood that you'll see on big stages. Now I've gone ahead and turned on the LED panels because now I'm going to explain to you how the center LED panel displayed the artist's logo. If we come over to this very discreet looking pressure plate, we step on it, it takes us to behind the stage, which is a mess. And no one is really meant to see this, but who cares? So we have these different modules. For example, this one is for HAZCHEM, which is me. This one's for Poopus. And then we have ones for all the other artists and things like that. And above these modules, we have a single command block with a button. These modules, while we're here, they send out a message to everyone and display something on the bottom part of the screen, just kind of alerting everyone that, for example, HAZCHEM is playing. So let's give that a shot right now. And then we can switch it off like that. And then it should just disappear. Also, you'll notice on the right side, there's a now playing scoreboard. And if the artist is online, if I hit this lever, their player name will be added to that tab. So you can see my Xbox gamer tag is the Aussie Pilot 1. That's a very old gamer tag, don't mock me. But the real reason we're here is for this button above these modules. And this simply just replaces the front area in front of the screen with stained glass windows from Minecraft in a design usually designed by the artist. Let's give it a shot with mine. Just push this button and boom. I couldn't fit HAZCHEM on here. Let's give it a shot with another artist. How about Poopus? Boom, you have Poopus, who did manage to fit their entire artist name. And the way this works is it's simply doing a clone command in Minecraft. You can see the command here in this command block. And these first three coordinates is the start area that it's going to clone, and these second three coordinates is the end area that it's going to clone. So you get this three-dimensional area that you're going to clone with these coordinates. And then the third group of coordinates is where you're going to copy whatever you've copied in this first 6 coordinates. So let's go and find my logo. It's going to be behind the stage here in this whole big mess. And you can see it right here. This is what it looks like. And you can see a test version with the lights behind it right here. We did a lot of testing. Unfortunately, right in the start day of the festival, we had a little bit of a mishap where I accidentally cloned a screen behind the stage to here, and it totally decimated this entire cave area. We tried to get rid of it fast, but we were on a really tight schedule for the show, so we just decided, no one can really see it, it's good enough. Things like this happen in the showbiz all the time, and you just have to go with it. What you can see here as well is my ground package. You can see it has all the HAZCHEM paraphernalia on it. And it has the CDJs and DJM set up right here, and the monitors. I added this little slab here, which I know looks like a speaker, but it was just handy on me, so I just put it here just so I could stand up and get a better view at the audience. Artists could design their own logo and their own ground package, or they could get us to design it if they didn't want to. For example, I think this is one of the default ones that we had just in case of emergency, and we made a whole bunch of different ones that people could use if they just wanted to pick from a template. For example, here you have Poopus's logo, which he designed himself, and his ground package, which he also designed himself. It's looking a little bit worse for wear with these banners, but it's still mostly intact. This is Sexy Lucy's ground package. Not sure if he designed it himself or if we designed it, but it has a bit of a unique, I guess, DJ setup, which is
I'm
nice
pretty
and
sure
fun.
it was a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of like helped us with it.
The artist logos really didn't need to be that crazy. Like for example, this one here, I believe is Mick Tape's logo. And it's really simple, and that's all it needs to be. I believe one of the artists, I can't remember who it was, but one of them and a bunch of the team members from HAZFEST staff decided to make a whole bunch of really fun looking ground packages in case any artist didn't want to design one and just wanted a quick easy one. Don't think many of these got used. Some of them might have, but yeah, it was just great to have them here. You can see this one here was for Zeus. This one here was for Electrolyte Orchestra, who opened the set. Great set, do recommend. Typically in the showbiz, you'd have a whole bunch of stage hands either wheel or construct the ground package on the stage in between the artists. And we could have used the clone command to just clone those ground packages onto the stage, but we felt it was more realistic and authentic just to have team members of the staff build it themselves. So it's been a long time since I designed all the lighting for HAZFEST, so I really can't remember a lot of it and what the purpose behind a lot of it was. Because of this, I'm not going to go into that much depth about the lighting. I'm just going to show you a few command blocks and the ones that I know, and hopefully be able to tell you what the ones that I know do. So the vast majority of all of the command blocks to power the stage, in fact, I think all of them? Is that right? Do you guys remember it all?
I think most of them.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say about all, but...
No, some of them are under the stage as well. But the vast majority of them are actually underneath the main stage grounds here. So if I just go down here, you can see this insane amount of command blocks, which is just all going crazy and bleeping and blooping. And all of these had some kind of purpose. They all control individual lights and different patterns and loops and things, which is all controlled by that front of house area that we were at before. So to start with, we had this interesting concept which didn't really go anywhere, but we have this thing in lighting called timecode. And it's where before the show, the lighting designer takes all the songs in the set list that the DJ gives them and custom creates a light show to those songs, so they can just kind of sit back and watch the show. We attempted to do that with command blocks and we got a decent result, but it was just too inconsistent given lag. How we'd do that is we'd take the timestamp of a song and convert that to ticks, which is Minecraft's equivalent of, I guess, seconds or milliseconds. And then once we had done that, we would put that amount of ticks into the delay box of this command block, and then every command block we would trigger at once. Now each of these command blocks would automatically turn on one of the lighting effects up at front of house. So theoretically all you had to do was, at the same time that the music started, was be to push play or push the button on a group of command blocks, and it would do the entire show for you. But as I said, lag made that impossible and it would just go out of time instantly. We've got this random group of command blocks here, and some of them are replacing some area with a lit pumpkin, and some are replacing them with air. So I really have no idea what this is doing anymore. I'd love to be able to explain it all to you, but I just can't. I do, however, know what this thing, this large snaking group of repeaters does. This is the mountain sparkle effect. And when active, all of these kind of empty spots between this circle, this loop, and these command blocks would be joined. And each of these command blocks would temporarily turn on the mountain sparkle lights, giving you a loop. I'm not 100% sure, but this massive chungus looking group of command blocks, I'm pretty sure, turns on and off, or sorry, triggers the fireworks. So when all of this is turned on, then the fireworks should all trigger. So I'm pretty sure, looking at this group of command blocks, this is how many different places the fireworks would come from. It was a lot. This right here would replace all the lights in the mountain sparkle effect with glowstone. This just creates the mountain sparkle steady on effect. Concrete? What are you? What the? What is this? What is this?
What's the, like...
Filled with concrete 15,
say?
which is black concrete, but like, I don't know where... Oh, I know what this is. This group of command blocks is filling areas with concrete, specifically I think black concrete. And I think this turns on and off the lights that are embedded in the stage floor. Cool. I think that's all I'm gonna... Oh, what's this? What is that? I don't know. Now I'm gonna come out of this main section and I'm gonna go under the stage because there's a few interesting things there. For example, let's start here with that pulse effect I showed you earlier. Pretty sure this would start with a redstone block being filled here and then going through this area and then starting a chain on both sides. This is mirrored. It would loop around, come back around, come through, and then start the loop again. I think these blocks, for example, this block and this block, would be removed sometimes if you wanted to stop the effect. Removing these would stop the loop. Under the stage is where it really all started, and I kind of regret starting to program under the stage because I really wasn't able to put anything under here because it was all taken up by command blocks. But you can see it just keeps going. It's just caverns of command blocks after command blocks. And there's an area down there which I have no idea how to get through. You know, I'll just break that block. And it just keeps going and going. Again, I really have no idea what a lot of this does. So actually this one right here is the totem effect. And I can tell because the commands inside these command blocks is particle, Minecraft totem particle. So when active, this would spawn a repeating loop, really fast loop that would just spawn these particles in quick succession up on the stage. And that's under the stage for you. I hope you've kind of got an idea now of how the lighting works. Now I'm going to show you a few other interesting parts of this server that use command blocks in weird and wonderful ways. You might remember this thing from the last episode, which I got teased about, very rightfully so. It was a funny little bit. And I did kind of briefly explain how this worked in the previous video, but I may as well explain it a little bit better. This used to literally just be an arch, and it would have a command block underneath it that would teleport non-VIPs, artists, or staff back to, like, I think here, if they were sensed in this area here. Now the problem with that is when it gets really laggy, command blocks take a long time to calculate. So a lot of people were able to just walk through, and by the time that the command block had done calculating, they would have already been gone, which means that the command block can't teleport them anymore.
Remember all the problems that caused?
Yep. So we ended up just having this massive cavalcade of just people spamming this door and trying to get into the VIP. And I think you can see it on the actual live stream. Editor, me, show it if you can. So what Saul
You
ended up
won't.
doing... What's up?
I bet you won't.
I will.
I bet you won't show it. You're too lazy.
True. It's a long live stream. What Saul ended up doing is he added a door and a delay that is triggered once you step on this pressure plate. You can see it's triggered, and then it takes a long time to actually activate, and then the door opens. And the idea was that by the time the door had opened, the command block would be given enough time to calculate, see if there was any people who shouldn't be there in this area, and then teleport them back. In here, we had a similar situation. In the green rooms, only artists and staff were allowed, so we had to find some way to block VIPs from coming through. The system that I came up with, which again is broken by lag, is a system that checks for people who are not an artist in a certain area, which happens to be this area right here. And then what it does is it gives them this title, whoops, you're not permitted here, and then teleports them back a bit. And that worked really well because there generally weren't too many people back here. And this main stage entrance here works exactly the same. You can see that if I don't have my little VIP card, which was literally just a helmet, then I can't get through. Whereas if I have a helmet on, grab this one, SP, I can't remember, I think that's stage pass. Yeah, stage pass. If I have this, then I can walk on, no problem. That particular security measure works by enchanting a player with respiration, which can only go on a chain or can only go on a helmet. And if the player doesn't have a helmet, then the command comes back negative and says, oh, sorry, the player didn't have a helmet. I can't go through with this command. A separate command gets that output and receives it as the player is not an artist or staff member. Therefore, it teleports the player back. If the player does have this, then the command will say, yep, I've enchanted the helmet with respiration, and another command block interprets that as you're free to let the player through. This Mike Wazowski Easter egg is a fun one as well. Took Ollie a while to figure out, but the way it works is if we come down here, there's a little fish pond which has a salmon called Mike Wazowski. Now what this command block does is it executes on behalf of the salmon, that salmon to type in chat and say, hi, I'm Mike Wazowski. And of course this salmon is called Mike Wazowski. And when I'm not slamming dunks, I love to watch the new movie Space Jam featuring Bill Murray as Bill. Fantastic. So that's a fun one. There's a fun thing with the HAZFEST sign. It didn't end up really working because it kept breaking, but you can see that there's some redstone lamps on the sign. And originally the sign actually did something very similar to Mountain Sparkle. And we have a very similar system to Mountain Sparkle underneath the ground here. I'll show you. So this is the sign Sparkle, and yeah, it kind of never really worked, but I can activate it for you so you can see. I've activated the sign Sparkle, and this is what it looked like. So I've probably forgotten a few interesting command blocky things, but I'm gonna go straight to the second stage. I'm gonna get this done first as well. Much simple setup at the back here, seeing we only had 2 artists to perform at this second stage. So it's basically the same system, just a lot cleaner. So this is the very nicely designed front of house. It really kind of goes well with the environment. So to start with that shroom light effect I was talking about, we have a shroom light on, and you can see that it just kind of really quickly sparkles them on. It's like not a full-on steady flash on, it's more of like a fade on. It's really nice. And then the same with the off. We have crying obby on, which is a much more subtle effect, but it's similar. And this is just a flash one, it's not like a wipe or a fade. And we have an off for that as well. And it's just a subtle glow, but it adds a nice little bit of purple. We have these soul torches as well, which I can turn on and off right there. They're pretty nice. They just add, like as the name suggests, a little bit of sparkle. I also have a lighting queue set up, Sparkle Go, which just kind of sparkles them, as the name suggests. Looks pretty cool. And same with the main stage, all the command blocks are underneath. If I go through this very well-made door, you can see down we have all the command blocks. Also, just one thing, like we missed quite a few things in the world tour. I mean, it's such a huge world we're bound to, but like one thing I just saw and I wanted to add because I like it so much is Ben made this little hut and I really like it. You go in and it's a little bit decrepit. It's nice. I don't know. I like it. Funny thing is, you actually cannot get to it without flying, which only staff members can do. And then finally, I'm going to show you where all the lighting programming started and where HAZFEST the world started, in fact. This was the first thing that was built. Yeah, no, not this area. It's somewhere else. I'm going to go there now. So we have the hub here. And if we come up just a little bit, over here, we can see a really tiny, cute little stage. And this was called the test stage. You can see that it's really bare bones. But if you look at the HAZFEST Instagram, the first post that's there is a screenshot of me and a few other guys, specifically Patrick, Ollie, and I think Micah, enjoying a little light show from this stage. And you can actually see the smoke effect I was talking about before, because it's working here. You can see all of the program was laid out right here very easily. And I mean, that's pretty much it, really. So this has probably been maybe, I think, a shorter video than usual. I'm gonna know when I edit it. And certainly a lot more of a chill one, as promised. This video is just a bit of a nice look at the behind the scenes of the lighting and the coding of the world. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, maybe sub to the channel, something like that, I don't know. So as is tradition around here, I'm gonna leave you with some funny extra scenes and bloopers from this video. And hopefully the next one comes out within 6 months of this one. Okay, bye. We had a bit of a concept in early development which didn't really take off because it was just too unstable. In the showbiz, we have this thing called lighting.
Yes.
I've probably forgotten a few interesting... So I've probably forgotten... So I've probably... Oh my god.
We need to be quiet. Elliot's trying to record a video now.
That's gonna go in the bloopers. That was funny. So I've probably forgotten a few things.
So Micah, how's your day been?
Not bad.
So I've probably... So I've probably forgotten a few
Legitimately,
things.
it's hard to not do this because I'm trying to like apologize and give you time. But every time I apologize, you start talking.
Yeah.